Okay, so you want to introduce yourself to my viewers here? I think mostly in America, and I got a couple in Iraq.
Oh, that's good. You
Yeah,
might have a few in Ireland after this.
yeah. What's your name? Your name is AJ
AJ
Cronin,
Cronin.
right?
Yeah, I'm 33. I own a strength gym in Carrick-on-Shore in Tipperary, which is a small province in Ireland.
Yeah. So I read on your profile of your gym. The one thing I really like about it is you left out CrossFit. There's
Yeah,
no
it's not,
CrossFit in your gym?
No, it wouldn't be for me.
Okay, good. All right, we're buddies already.
Yes,
But go ahead. Yeah, what are you saying?
too much injury risk. I haven't the flexibility and mobility to train that at the moment.
That's what I talk about. Everyone that owns a powerlifting gym or a Olympic lifting gym in America, they love CrossFit because it's gotten them so many new lifters.
Ah.
Wanted to ask you a question. In America, I would say like the lifting capital of America is Ohio. In Europe, what would it be? Britain, Ireland, Scotland, somewhere around there?
Europe at the moment, Eddie Hall is supposed to be lifting the main, probably Britain would be the biggest, but Ireland is growing though, it's getting bigger.
Yeah.
It's getting big. Yeah, Britain has a lot of strongmen and powerlifters. It would be huge over there. But we're getting there.
What do you do? What would you consider yourself?
I started off playing a bit of, it's an Irish sport. It's called hurling. It's like a lacrosse kind of sport. We have a stick and a ball. So a lot of strength and conditioning work involved in that. And I was always strong and I like weight training. So it kind of came to an end. I was getting old, picked up a few injuries. So I transitioned over into just weight training. I always had a big follow of bodybuilding. I was obsessed with Arnold Schwarzenegger and all those, all the old school bodybuilders.
Yeah.
Ronnie Coleman and all that. So I transitioned a bit from that kind of GA and strength and conditioning into bodybuilding, but never got the diet right. So I kind of stuck to strongman and powerlifting. They were my big backgrounds. But I'm actually dieting now at the moment, so I'm going to do a bodybuilding competition in the next few months.
Out of all the lifting sports, powerlifting, Olympic lifting, throwing, strongman, bodybuilding, I think bodybuilding is the hardest, not because of what they do in the gym, but because what they do outside the gym, the dieting. It's the whole life. The whole life is bodybuilding.
Yeah, it's insane. I'm 4 weeks in, and it's a different game. It's different completely. Nutrition wise, strongman, you train for performance, so you're allowed to take in that extra bit of calories, and you can kind of eat what you want to eat, keep your protein high and carb high, but it's completely different.
Yeah.
It's just the rep range. I don't find the training too difficult. It's a different kind of burn, but regarding the diet, it's a tough game. It's a tough game.
Sets of 8, I consider cardio.
Because sets of 5, anything over 5, I think is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when did you get into like real competitive lifting?
I've trained in probably 15 years, and when I started to train, we went to an old school gym. It's just down the road from where we live. It was real old school. The guy who won Ray O'Dwyer, he won Ireland's strongest man, and he competed in British strongest man. He was a powerlifter that transitioned into bodybuilding and strongman. So he got a lot of young people involved in the gym scene, because it wouldn't have been a massive thing in our local area at the time. So he was the main lad who got everyone involved, and he roped us in.
Do you find that it's growing?
Oh, Ireland is literally gone fitness, especially bodybuilding and physique training. It's after exploding in the last 5-6 years. We live in a small area, probably 20,000 people, a bit more maybe. And there's 4 or 5 different gyms. So 10 years ago, there wouldn't have been enough living to make a living from one gym, never mind 4. So it's really growing in population and popularity. So it's getting bigger.
How many people are in your gym? Members?
My members, I started off with a studio. I had just doing personal training, and we had a powerlifting station, had about maybe 40. It was real old school, stones, tires, grip training, real old school training. Now I transitioned to a bigger area then due to Corona and lockdowns, and thought it'd be a bit better having a bigger space. So now I have probably 250 members, 260.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
all right, so that's big, Jim. I'm not talking like 20 people.
No. It started with maybe I only had maybe 10. It was real old school. So some people found maybe sometimes a smaller area, and it was old school. It's kind of intimidating, but we softened them and got them in. And once they got in, they loved it. So,
have you ever thrown anyone out of the gym because they just did not have the passion, the mindset, you just did not want them around?
No. So at some commercial gyms, what you have is they don't want chalk, or they don't want lifting or banging weights. But we try to have a mixture of every single kind of client that you can think of, and give them an understanding that lifting weights is good, and you can get in shape without doing loads of cardio once your nutrition's on point. So we're making it more normal, that it's not just an intimidating scene.
Right.
But I wouldn't have ever. We try to make room for everyone, but again, it's not for everyone. There's CrossFit gyms and there's all that kind of stuff for anyone else.
Right, because I mean, I lift with my wife and some friends of mine, and some friends of hers in my basement. We got 2 squat racks. We deadlift in front of them. There's a reverse hyperextension behind you. It's pretty much. We got dumbbells and we got tons of weights. We got chains and bands.
Yeah,
it's a pretty good. It's a pretty good basement gym. But my wife just threw something through one of her friends out of here because she was just like, it just wasn't for her. She was just really looking to lose weight. And my wife was like, no, we're powerlifters. We're training for powerlifting. If that's not your goal, like you gotta go.
That's it. Well, I actually started off with a similar kind of setup like this. When you're going into a good area or a good gym, when you see a reverse hyper, because when you go to a normal commercial gym, a lot of people don't understand, and they're kind of intimidated by it. They don't understand what's for.
I'm going to show you something. I bought these for my wife. Hold on. All right, here we go. You're flying over. All right. This is, all right, my reverse hyper.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, hold on. I'm falling over it. You see this handle?
Yeah.
Because that's the handle that comes with it, right? All the way out there.
Yeah. It's
like made for people that are like 5'10" and above.
Yeah.
And my wife is 5'2", and she has a friend who's I'm sorry, not 5'10". My wife is 5'2", and her friend is 5 foot, and they can't reach the handle. So Elite ETF, they make this thing called the OBB power handle. It's basically made as like a safety squat, right? You attach it onto the bar. I attached it onto here, and it's a handle for the littler people,
shorter people.
Yeah, and well, it works out. Actually, I still have to. My wife can get up there herself, but her friend has cerebral palsy, so like she can't jump up. I gotta grab her from the hips and lift her up there, and then what we did is I have an Instagram post of it. I took one of the bands, the West Side bands, the small one, and I wrapped the strap. I wrapped it around her ankle. It worked out pretty good.
Yeah, it works. It does the job. West Side is big over here now. Everyone is West Side obsessed. Once powerlifting here, everyone is West Side. It's massive.
Yeah, when I was new in the sport, man, I hated them. Like this was back in I got into powerlifting in 2001, and back when I was in college, and my coach is hates steroids. It's no, and so Louis Simmons, is a big steroid guy, and he hated Louis Simmons, so I hated Louis Simmons, so I didn't want to get a reverse hyperextension just because I hated Louis Simmons.
There's actually a guy that trains here regularly. He competes with Ireland powerlifting. he was in a bad accident with a farm machinery, and he went out through the windscreen and broke his back, a vertebrae. But he's like a bull. He's about 5'6" or 7", but he's built like a house. And the doctor said to him, he's so much muscle around his back built up, which he put down to reverse hyper.
Yeah.
He swears by it, and he said he's so much muscle built up around his lower back that he would be possibly in a wheelchair or worse.
Yeah.
So he swears.
Yeah, I've only had one for I've only had it for a couple weeks. Before that, in that same spot, I had a cable leg curl. And me and my wife were both like, you know what, we've been doing this cable leg curl forever. We feel like no effect from it. You know, let's sell it and try this out. And so far, I feel it working in my lower back and my glutes. I don't feel it in my hamstrings really, but do you feel it in your hamstring?
Is it your free position, or is it banded one?
I've been using the roller attachment.
The roller attachment, yeah. The roller attachment is more lower back, and I find sometimes with the sling attachment, it can get a lot more hamstring.
What do you think for a guy like me who has a hard time like leaning forward in the squat? What do you think is more important, the hamstring or doing it for the lower back and the glutes?
I think lower back maybe. Do you
That's what I thought. I do a low bar squat, but it's still, when it gets heavy, you know, my hips come up quick and it turns into a good morning. You know, it doesn't look pretty.
No, it's probably back, I think.
Yeah, but like I said, I've gotten better because, you know, I mean, I'm really not someone that was meant for this sport. When I started powerlifting, the guys on the team used to call me the Riddler because my back looked like a question mark when I squatted. You know, so it was not like I was never like most people I talk to. They're like, I was always strong, so I started powerlifting. It was me. I was never strong, and I started doing it. I didn't care. Yeah.
But no matter how much you start, where you start, you will be stronger when you finish. So I just
hit a PR in my squat yesterday, and it would be embarrassing to tell you how much it was, but for me it was a PR. So it was a great day.
No matter what it is, it's a PR. That's all that matters. Once you're breaking PR,
you know what I started getting into that I like a lot is the strict curl. Do you guys have that in any of meets in Ireland?
No, it's not big here at all. I was watching some of your podcasts. I was reading some of strict curl. A lot of your guests were talking about strict curling.
Wait till Friday. I think Monday I'm gonna put the podcast out with Bruce Knox. You know Knox Power Company?
Yeah, I heard of him.
Yeah, but the guy's crazy. He curls like almost 200 pounds. And so I have him now. There's three, like the big power, like, well, the two heavyweight guys are John Cooper and it's got Bruce Knox. They're both neck and neck. They're curling like around 200 pounds. And there's this other guy, Joe Frenny. He's a lighter weight guy, but per body weight, I think he's very impressive. He curls a lot. He's just a smaller guy. But I've had Joe Frenny explain it to me how to do it. I've had John Cooper explain to me how to do it, and I just wasn't getting it. You know, and then I had Bruce Knox on the podcast, and he broke it down how to do it, and I was getting close to a PR, and normally I don't change things last minute, you know, but I did, and it made a world of difference. What's the main part of it that helps with the lift? Is it bracing or no? That's important. But here's the thing, right? Like with the curl, right? This is what I was doing, right? A regular curl, right? Up, down, a full lever, right? This is what they're doing. That's you see the difference? The bar path, when you watch their bar path, it's straight up and down. This is what I was doing. Now what they do is it's almost like an Olympic lift without using your legs.
That's unreal, unbelievable.
So what they're doing is they're breaking out at the elbow, right? So it's an explosive movement, and then they're tucking under and bringing it up with the tight fist like that. So it's a real quick boom like that.
So actually, it's like an Olympic lift now at this stage.
With your knees straight, yeah.
It's unreal. It's unbelievable.
And they do it so quick. They do it so quick that you would never be able to see it. It's like they're so explosive.
First guy I seen doing that was actually, I watched a documentary on C.T. Fletcher there a few years ago, years and years ago. He was the first guy I'd seen doing the competitions for strict curl.
Yeah, I haven't watched him in a while. Now I got to look at him now to see if he's doing it. But yeah, but that guy Knox, you know, he was like, you know, get on the screen and show me what you're doing, you know, and I was just holding it and just, you know, just coming up, and I was bringing my elbows in like that. It was just naturally come in like that. And he's like, you're killing yourself. He was like, you're never gonna move anything like that.
I need to try that. I look at some videos, see how
he's got a YouTube channel. Go ahead, sit down. Yeah, use this. You little.
Well, I gotta go back with me on my coffee. Hello.
This is my wife.
How are you? You're getting spoiled.
She's 103. I can tell you her weight because it's so little. 103 pounds and deadlifts 250.
Oh.
I can't hear him.
Oh,
250.
Hold on. Let me take these off. Hold on.
Can you hear me now?
Small bit. It's kind of muffled a small bit.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, okay.
You hear me now?
Yeah.
I think I gotta put the volume up.
Okay.
All right.
You got a strong family there.
Yeah. So yeah, we met in powerlifting in college back in 2001 or 2. I think we met in 2001, and she wouldn't go out with me until 2002. But yeah, I was just talking to him about the strict curl, but she can't do that. She has a problem with the strict curl because she can't pronate, right? Your arm?
Yeah.
Yeah, she fell. Well, she fell off a boat.
When I was 18, I used to work on a tall ship, and I fell and dislocated my elbow and shattered my ulna and radius. And then I started powerlifting after that, actually, because the surgeon had told me to lift weights to prevent arthritis, but I can't fully pronate my wrist, so to get under the strict curl bar, kind of just tears up a lot of scar tissue and stuff.
Yeah, so it's not worth the pain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I guess for powerlifting right now, it's just like for me, it's a novelty. I know, like, if Joe Frenny, like this guy Strict Curl Joe, if he's listening to me, he's gonna send me like death letters now because I called it a novelty. Because like to a lot of people now, it's like their world. Like you see on the file, strict curl only. You know, but
strong biceps. They can act like a brake when you're bench pressing.
Yeah, it's a good thing to do, I think. But in my opinion, if you're not squatting, benching, and deadlifting, are you a power lifter? I don't want to say no because you know these people are my friends. So but you know, I think even if you could only squat the bar, if you had a handicapped and you could just squat the bar, squat in the competition. You know, that's my.
What I like about powerlifting is it's such a great community, and when you go to a competition, if you're a new lifter already or experienced lifter, you're treated the same, and everybody is very helpful, and you can't do enough for it. I just found that's the difference between other sports.
For me,
powerlifting is very
longevity in the sport, and you know, once I started strict curling and I started feeling all the wear on that wrist and elbow, I had to choose, like, if I want to continue squatting and benching for long term or wear out what little I had left in the strict curl. Yeah,
it's about longevity. So it's something that's not needed, you could hold off on it.
So Michael was telling me that you coach a team at your gym.
We have about 1, 2, 3. We have 3 serious powerlifters. They're really, really big in the powerlifting. They compete internationally. We've got probably 3 or 4 strongmen now. Strongman is kind of it's kind of growing a small bit here in the southeast of Ireland. So that we have 3 or 4 maybe strongmen, and then the rest are just regular gym users. They just use the gym equipment. So we kind of have our own separate powerlifting area and strongman area. I can give you a little run through there for a second. So it's some of the stuff. We're actually closed on lockdown now, so we're not really open. Maybe a week or two. So show you 1 second.
Yeah, over here they just a little bit.
So we got some strongman atlas stones.
Nice.
Viking press. So Viking presses go for overhead. Here's our monoliths and all our competition plates.
Safety ball.
Yeah. We've got a few platforms, different ones, and then we have a few different competition barbells. We use all Texas power bars. We got our bench presses. All our competition, all different variation bars, camber bar, a bow bar, and then we got leg areas. It's old school.
Yeah, well, no, yeah, I guess it's old school, but it's the right school.
Yeah, old school is best. We've got a bit of conditioning area with a bit of cardio, strong and yoke.
Do you have one treadmill?
Yeah, I have one treadmill. I have got a few assault bikes. Just
I knew you
cross trainer for general fitness. I don't ever see those though.
I knew you would only have one treadmill.
Yeah, one treadmill. I do cardio when I do more than one rep. I have no. I got caught recently. I have no false teeth, and so excuse the tooth missing in the front.
So are you you're training? Are you actually like training guys and girls there? Or
Yeah, we train a mixture of guys and girls, but it's mostly my real background is strength training. We got a girl works here. She there's a girl person trainer. She's more into physique training. So
let me ask you a question. While I got my wife here.
Yeah.
Easier to train men or women?
Me personally, it's not a thing, but I think women can be easier to deal with, and they're more understanding and they listen more. I think they observe more. Men sometimes.
Anyone I ask, all over the world, anywhere, it's the same answer. Same answer.
Men sometimes, I think, even if they're coming in training and they're doing a small bit of training, I think sometimes, I don't know, is it ego gets in the way sometimes? Maybe it's not ego, but.
Are you married?
No, not yet anyway.
Have you ever dated a girl who was a power lifter or a lifter?
Yeah, I dated a girl probably about 14 years. She's into fitness, general fitness and weight training. She loves weight training.
Let me ask you a question. Were you able to take advice from her?
financially and money wise, yes, but training wise, no.
Okay, thank you. Let me tell you. Well, you tell them the story about when I bombed out of a meet course. I didn't listen to you.
Well, I actually wasn't training at the time. I think I was about like 8, 9 months pregnant, and he was training for a competition, and he was doing box squats, and I was down here watching him, and I was saying, you're not really hitting below parallel with those box squats.
Oh no.
You're about above parallel, just right around there. And he kept going, I know where deep is. I know where it is. So I was like, all right. And I think I tried to tell him maybe 2 or 3 times, and I got the same response. So then I had the baby, and we went to the meet, and I think the baby was about a month old at the time. We get to the meet, and he hits the first squat, and it's above parallel. And this judge, like we're good friends with, old friends with for a long time, she comes up to me and she goes, tell him to get deeper. So I said, oh, you tell him. He knows. So he goes up for the second one. He hits it above parallel. And the judge, she comes up to me again and she goes, why isn't he getting deeper? I was like,
it wasn't heavy. I just couldn't do it. It was weird.
It didn't push you down.
Yeah.
I said, I don't know, Brenda. I'm not sure why he's not getting deeper. And then the third squat, he couldn't hit deep, and he bombed out of the meet. And I didn't say anything.
That's the only time I bombed out in my
You didn't have to say anything.
Yeah, I didn't say anything. Brenda, the judge, she had a lot to say.
I can listen a little bit now.
She's a good friend, but
yeah,
she had a lot to say.
Do you compete raw or with the equipment?
Raw. We have. I only ever compete raw, but we have a guy who equip lifts. It's completely different. It's different training and everything. It's crazy.
That's what. Yeah, they're both called powerlifting. but they're totally different sports.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, thanks for having the chat.
Look at that. You think people are gonna be kissing on your podcast?
Well, that's grand. What part of New York are you from?
Well, you're about my age. Remember the show Orange County Choppers?
Yeah.
Yeah, like 10 minutes from there. They're like
Oh.
an hour north of New York City.
Oh, I was no reason to ask. I was in New York probably last year.
Yeah.
2 years ago, before any of this Corona started. I was there for 2.5 weeks. I'd lived there, no problem.
Yeah, I commuted down to the city for
Yeah.
a long time. I was a police officer.
Oh.
So, yeah. It was commuting back and forth to the train. It was a nightmare.
Yeah, commuting down. It took us a while to get used to the underground. The trains. It's a different lifestyle.
Yeah, I would never. Yeah, that's like a different. It's almost like a whole different department. Transit, like cops. It's like it's all the NYPD, but it's like it's different. Transit, and then we have like another thing that's different too. Housing, which is like all the
Yeah.
They just police that. But,
there's a lot of Irish there now. I have a good few friends who are after immigrating there.
there's a lot of people immigrating from the city to up by me now too, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of people moving up here. But
Yeah, it's crazy. We're in lockdown now, so everything is closed. There's nothing open. It's still strict. You can't drive it outside your 5K.
yeah,
So I'm lucky enough that I can get in and train. And there's some people, unless you have a home gym, they're just stuck.
yeah.
It's crazy.
So far, we've been pretty good. We're kind of like it's just opening up little by little. Gyms have been open for a little while now.
You always do train in the home gym?
What's that?
You do all your training at home?
Do I only train at home? Yeah.
You have to comfort your own and train whatever way you want to train.
Yeah.
Have to
play nice with most people, so I can't. I don't know. I've never been. Only one time I've been to a pretty strength-focused gym. I mean, when I started lifting, I mean, they really. I can't like if you Google like New York City and powerlifting gym, like they probably have like 10 to 12 different places like pop up. Like that didn't exist when I got out of college and like I needed to like lift in a gym. Like I found this gym. It was in the basement of a pool hall. It wasn't supposed to be there. It wasn't zoned to be a gym. You know, there was this one spot in the back where like the powerlifters lifted. This guy Pat Susko. I don't know if you know his name. He squatted like 925 in like 1992. He's on the cover of Powerlifting magazine. Everyone around here knows him, and he let me lift with him. He was a really nice guy, and then we bought a house upstate, you know, and we just bought the squat rack immediately, and just been lifting down here for like the last probably like 13 years.
So some of the garage gyms in America are better than the commercial gyms over here.
Yeah, you know, it's not the gyms that are the problem. Well, I mean, some of them they don't let you make noise even in them. I couldn't lift that.
Yeah, we've got that here. Some gyms, no chalk, you can't bang a deadlift, no loud noise. I'm the opposite. I would say if you don't make noise or if you don't use chalk, you're in the wrong place.
Yeah.
You know, it's not for everyone, but what we have a good community base. A lot of people coming in here, they're really good friends, and we build up a good community. So it's really everyone is friendly. There's no some commercial gyms, people have headphones in, they don't interact. I know there's a difference in interacting and getting involved when you're trying to do a set, but we all back each other in here, so it's really good close knit.
Yeah, there's a difference, because you got to know how to talk to someone if you want to talk to them. Because like you can't come up to someone and say, you're doing that wrong. It's not gonna work.
No. There's a method.
I know someone as a lady, Ellen Stein. She's a power. If you look up her name, Ellen Stein. But like, she's gotten thrown out of gyms left and right because she just comes up to people and like, you don't know what you got to do it this way and blah blah blah, and she knows what she's talking about. I I mean, she's one of the best powerlifters out there. But I'm like, Ellen, you can't talk to people like that. But she don't. It's crazy. She's crazy.
Yeah, some people take offense to the smallest of things.
Oh, Ellen is expensive. Everything other than calling her crazy because she knows she's crazy. But okay.
I think you have to be a powerlifter, small bit.
Well, I'm sure you're lifting in kilos, right?
Yeah, kilos. Yeah.
It's always asked quite that question in America.
Yeah.
A lot of people are trying like buying kilo plates, and it drives me crazy because people post on Instagram like they did it like what they did in kilos, and now I have to break out times 2.2. It's annoying.
Yeah, 2.2 into pounds and transition it over.
Yeah, it's like if you're gonna post in kilos, like put the pounds also, right? It's frustrating.
Yeah. I have a guy here who trains and he posts in both kilos and pounds, and he keeps saying to me, make sure you post in pounds just in case you have any other followers. So not everyone follows kilos, so that's something I need to work on.
Everyone's getting into kilos and it's driving me nuts.
Yeah.
What training method do you use? Or I mean, have you made up something your own like over the years? Like what are you doing now?
I've done conjugate a small bit with bands and chains. I've went from that, then I've done some periodization, I've done some hypertrophy strength training. But basically my style of training was I never trained as a power lifter. I would do my top sets, my heavy, probably take maybe go to an hour, and then I'd always do some bodybuilding and finishers. So some isolation and bodybuilding always finish because I just enjoy the feeling and the burn and the sensation. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, I used to have a coach powerlifting. He used to go crazy because he'd give me set reps and set range to do, and sometimes on a deload week, and I wouldn't have to lift as much, and I just find it so difficult not to push.
Yeah, I would like earlier I would have agreed with you, and now I'm starting to sort of agree with what your coach is saying. Like I've kind of
you sometimes you can undo the good work, but what I really starting to get a big understanding is, do you ever hear of power building? It's like a lot of guys over here, they do powerlifting in the winter, and then coming into the summer they would transition to training more into bodybuilding kind of style training.
Yeah.
So
it makes sense. Well, I don't like the term power building because some people take it and they try and be a bodybuilder and powerlifter at the same time.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
I don't think it
works. If you want to be good at something, your concentration, I personally think if you want to be a good powerlifter, you cannot concentrate on something else. You have to put all your concentration and work into powerlifting.
It's usually not an argument, but it's sort of an argument with people. They think I don't compete enough, right? I like to compete like every 6 months. And I like to do that because like after a competition, I think, okay, well now it's like, let's do some volume. Let's grow some muscle, right?
Practice.
8 reps, and then you get like midway through, you're getting closer to that meet, 5 reps, and then like as you get into that meet, the weight's going up, the volume's going down, because like powerlifting, right? Like it's a force-driven sport, right? It's right, much force that you can put into it because it's a single rep, and you need to utilize all your brain, all your nerves, all your muscle to explode at one time for that one rep at that meet. So you could train all you want single reps, 2 reps, 3 reps. You're not going to build all the muscle you need then to train to do that. You understand? Am I making any sense?
Yeah. No, you're out doing one and not doing the other.
You need to build muscle to be right. You can't go powerlifting without muscle. So at some point in your training, you're going to have to build muscle. And then at some point in training, you're going to have to transition into taking that muscle and maximizing the force you can use with that muscle.
Yeah. So it's a periodization training and kind of splitting your training into steps. Right. But how often would you train? How often would you compete?
Usually around like every 6 months. Like I like to.
That's you.
I like to train in 8-week cycles. Sometimes it doesn't work out because there's a competition and it's at this date, so it's have to shorten it, But I found that shorter than 8 weeks, I have a hard time getting up, hitting a PR, and longer than 8 weeks, I'm just overloaded. I can't handle it.
Yeah.
That's for us and our team. Listen, from back for a long time. My coach started this team in 1978. We've just found that 8 weeks seems to work for us.
It works better for you, so you're not regressing afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, I know people that they do less or they do more. That's fine, but for me and my wife, we definitely feel 8 weeks is. We've tried. It seems like the perfect number.
Usually in Ireland, competitions are between 4 and 6 months before you can compete again, or sometimes there could be 2 competitions in the space of, depending on what federation you're with, there could be a competition on a month between each other, but it's usually cycled around a year. So there could be 2 real comps real close together, and then the next one might be till the following year.
Yeah, so it does. There's a lot of people in this country that compete every month or twice a month, and I call them. Yeah. Well, sorry if you're listening, I call them trophy hounds.
Yeah, it would be difficult to get your program to be progressing that way if you're competing every month and you're trying to get stronger, I think.
I think so too, but
yeah,
I think they just want the trophy.
That's it. I think so. Yeah, I reckon so.
But if I know who might be listening. Sorry, but let's see. Has the dedication that you need for lifting helped you through life?
My main goal, the best thing I've ever done in my whole life, I played at the top level in one sport, which was GA, and the best thing I've ever done was walk into a gym. It opened up my life in so many different ways. I always found it hard going to school and I never done second level education when I left school, and I found it hard to fit into something that I was actually really good at and I enjoyed as much. So I find it hard to find a place in a normal 9-to-5 job. I found it hard to find a place. So fitness and walking into the gym just opened up my life completely. It gave me something that I enjoy doing. It gave me so many opportunities to travel, and it's probably one of the best things I've ever done.
If you could go back and tell yourself one thing about lifting, what would it be?
My one thing for the first few years in training was nutrition. Would be probably the one thing I would be cued into more, and how it affects performance.
Yeah.
Definitely nutrition wise. I was at the mindset of kind of I can now train a diet anyway, so not falling into it. I didn't eat a lot of junk food, but I had a high carbohydrate diet. And I just found I fell into wanting to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So nutrition kind of went out the window. So if I could tell myself one thing, would be to get my nutrition right and lifting weights, lifting on a normal, I'm not overlifting. It became very obsessive for me one stage. I thought the more weights and the more I train, the bigger I get, and forgot about the nutrition side.
In America, it seems like if you want to be a cool powerlifting gym, you have to have a pit bull in the background. You know what I'm talking about? Seems like every powerlifting gym, they're like, there's always a pit bull in the background. It's like, do you have a pit bull in your gym?
No, I actually designed my own logo. I'm having an upgrade. I upgraded it. It's not a pit bull, but it's a big UJ. But that was my own logo. So see this one?
Yeah.
I designed that one myself, and have anything with my new logo on. I think the sign out the front. But what it basically is, it's a gorilla with a barbell. So it's coming similar enough. It's from an animal from the jungle as well, but it's not.
Well, if you want to steal someone's logo, I did a podcast with someone who owns a gym called Silver Barbell, and he's in Arizona, and I'm almost positive it's a gorilla with a barb. So just look up that podcast.
I'll just show you my one. I'll see if they see it. You might be able to see it. I'll just try to get a picture. It's fine. There you go. Can you see that?
Yeah. That looks nice. The black
Something.
siding.
What's that?
It looks nice. The front, the black siding. It looks real professional.
Yeah, it came out well, but I'm just trying to re-franchise and trying to get more out there that people take more notice. I think sometimes with my own logo, it wasn't standout-ish. So marketing wise, it wasn't always the best. But the only thing, I designed it myself, and if anyone do notices, they know who it is.
Let me ask you: Do you lift those Atlas stones?
Yeah, I've done. We have Atlas stones in the gym here up to 300 pounds, 320 pounds.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, right? Now, this is partly my coach's fault. He had a large team, and he really didn't care about me because I really wasn't lifting anything. And I lifted with horrible deadlift technique, and I never wanted to stop and fix it because then I'd have to lower the weight, and I just mentally couldn't. Yeah. I just I'm at the point now where after this competition, I'm like, all right, after this competition, I'm gonna fix it.
Strip it all back.
So, I basic bed deadlift technique, but when I look at someone picking up an Atlas stone, it looks very similar. So I'm wondering now, would all of my bed deadlift technique help me with an Atlas stone?
Yeah, it might actually progress. A lot of there's a lot of rounded back with an Atlas stone. It's more hamstring. You're pulling more with your hamstrings, and because of the circumference, when you crunch over to grab, you get a natural roundness in your lumbar.
Yeah,
you kind of have to. Your lumbar has to be a lot more flexible and rigid. That you're not going to get hurt, or you're not going to get a pull or tear.
Yeah, no problem with that.
Because it's high risk. I've seen a few bad injuries from it, but that's the chance to take.
Yeah, I have a flexible back. It does not help me with the deadlift, but it helps me in the bench because I look like a.
Yeah, you can get an arm.
But back, let me tell you, in 2001, you only seen a few girls benching with a big arch like that. Guys would always come up to me and be like, "Wow, that's a crazy arch. That's impressive." Nowadays, everyone's doing it. But
It's good.
20 years ago, guys really weren't that.
Yeah, it was pretty strict, I'd say.
They were puffing up. They were taking in big breaths of air, but these guys were not. They did not have like that big arch in their back.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like a newer thing.
Have you ever picked up any injuries from powerlifting, or?
I think I just don't lift enough to get injured.
No, it's a double-edged sword. I played GAA for a lot of years, and I've got not only injuries, compound breaks, fractures, 2 teeth gone, front teeth, and I powerlifted. I weight trained heavy for 10 years, and the only injury I've ever got was an inflamed elbow, a tendonitis in my elbow. So I'd never suffered injury serious.
Yeah, I had bicep tendonitis once, and this shirt is really a joke because from that I wasn't I stopped training for a while. I think it might have been because I was drinking a lot, and I stopped training, and then I started training again, and I started off light, and I didn't feel like doing 8-week cycles and whatnot. I was just like, I'm just gonna keep going until I can't go no more, right? Just go up 5-10 pounds every week until I plateau, and then I'll start training like for my cycles. And my biceps weren't down to that. I got to the point where, like, again, I didn't listen to my wife. Like, the inside of my bicep was hurting, like deep inside the muscle. And my wife's like, "Yeah, that's tendonitis." And I'm like, "No, I just think it's just growing from the inside." So I kept lifting. I was doing strict curls twice a week, heavy. and eventually got to the point where I just couldn't lift my arm this way. And yeah, so I went to the doctor, and he was like, "Oh, you just got tendonitis. It'll be all right." And
That's the moral of the story.
he's like, 6 to 8 weeks, you'll be okay. I was like, 6 to 8 weeks is not okay. That's the end of the world. So what are you talking about? Like, I'm gonna die if I can't lift it 6 to 8 weeks. And man, 5 weeks into it, like I thought the world was over. I was like, that's it. I can't move my arms. So life is over. I'm gonna have no biceps. Like, what's the point of living? Yeah, like 6 to 7 weeks, it started to get better, and lifting real light helped blood get in there and helped it get better faster. And then I listened to my wife, and so and moved on.
I was just about to say the moral of the story: women are always right.
Yeah, she was right again.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but she made me up this shirt, infinite gains. That's what I said. I'm gaining infinitely. Nothing's gonna stop me.
Nothing stops.
Not the bicep tendonitis stop me.
Yeah, that's it. Where does it stop? That's the thing with training. It's so progressive. You can take it anywhere you really want, basically.
Yeah. Oh, your gym. I didn't notice a lot of mirrors.
They're only literally gone up 2 days.
Yeah.
I was a big advocate. No, I never had mirrors. I'd never believe it, because what a lot of gyms would have is mirrors in front of a squat rack, which happens. A lot of people get caught looking forward, and it pushes you forward, and they're looking at their form, and it clogs up a lot. And I think the reason I eventually bit, because I have so many different variants of different cultures. A lot of people coming in. There's a lot of different nationalities coming in, and a lot of the more serious power bodybuilders, they're kind of whispering, "Why don't you get a mirror?"
They want to look at themselves.
What mind muscle connection, so they say.
No, that's
So, it might happen. I might be walking past and drop a dumbbell or hit it with a barbell. You never know.
There's a mind muscle connection a little bit. If you got to look a little bit at a couple posts back with my son. He's 9 years old, right? And he's having a hard time keeping his back straight, right, for the deadlift. Not because he doesn't have the muscle there to do it, just because he just doesn't know where it is, where straight is. So, I'm like, touch it. I'm like, come on, your lower back is, like hyperextended. I was like, come on, take that out of your back. And then he'll hunch his shoulders over. I'll be like, put your shoulders back up, and then he'll hyperextend. Once in a while, he would get it right. And I'm like, you got it. And then he would miss it again. And he's like, Daddy, I can't see my back. I don't know where it is. I'm like, you know what? I did a Zoom call from my phone, right? I had it sideways on him, looking at him. I put the laptop right in front of him so he could see his back live. You know what I mean? Because you never work that out. You need like 10 mirrors to work that one out.
Yeah, of course.
And he did it. His back was straight as a board. Bang, 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 straight. Because the muscle was there. It's just he
just wanted to visualize it.
I just, doing this with him, just with no weight. I'm doing a kid ball, which is 13 pounds, and the big, they're 10-pound plates, but they're like the big rubber ones.
Yeah.
Working on that till he gets it down. And another thing I have him doing, I'll show you. This lady Ellen Stein, she was like, he's got to get that back straight. He was like, she says $100 bill. I use a piece of paper. Take a piece of paper under the armpits. He was like, if he rolls forward, if he's not tight, it's gonna fall out.
That's it makes sense, doesn't it?
So that's what she tells people to do. She's like, take a dollar bill or whatever, shove it under your armpit. She was like, if you
that's a really good cue, isn't it?
Yeah, and I noticed doing it myself too. Like you have to keep, you're so tight up here to hold that dollar bill in there.
Yeah, I think I must try that myself and see how will it progress with it.
Yeah,
it's something you wouldn't think of. That's a good cue now. It's a good tip.
No, it's not from me. It's from Ellen Stein. Follow her on. No, you don't follow her on Instagram because she doesn't post. She just
follows people. It's weird. I don't know why old people do that. Sorry, Ellen, I called you old, but we follow her. We friend her on Facebook.
On Facebook.
Stein, she's
Ellen Stein.
her stuff on Facebook. Yeah, she just went to a meet. She pulled, I think, 400, and I think she weighs like 138 pounds, I think, or something like that. And
It's crazy.
she's almost 70 years old, I think. Let's say she's in her early 60s, let's say. But she's she's in her early 60s. But she's but she's not a young girl too. You know, she's up there.
It's brilliant, but bone density, longevity in life is probably one of the best things that a person in their late teens can, or in their late noughties can do. Like, it's probably one of the. It's only getting a lot more common here. Like, there would have been kind of a stigma that it's not for an older person, but I think social media is really good because a lot of people are seeing more sides of things and it's opened up different ideas. So a lot more older people are getting in. My own dad is 60, and I don't want to say anything. I think he's 65. He started me weight training. He's obsessed. He loves it. He trains every day. He loves it.
Only did with Ellen, she went a little overboard with the steroids. A little overboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I think with the problem.
Yeah, she told me that. She said that if she could go back, she would have toned that down.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I know her. She's with Pat Suska. She started with a group of guys, right? Like when 25 years ago when she started lifting. She started late. She started in her 40s. So this is 25 years ago. And she got into a group with a bunch of guys that were all using steroids. And you know what? Now Pat Susko is 70 years old. He looks great. But Ellen Stein looks like a guy now.
Yeah, it's down to infinite gains. I think it's how far you want to take it, as you said, getting to the next level, and it becomes then how far does it go until you want to stop. I think it's a big.
I think the only time I would ever take steroids is my doctor was like, your testosterone levels are low.
They're low. Yeah.
It boosts you up to what you should be.
Yeah.
I think if a guy does that, I think that's acceptable.
Yeah, education and knowing what's right and what's wrong, I think, is massive. What the problem is in Ireland at the moment, it's education people on, like, there's a lot of young kids and they're going out and they're buying steroids, like you're buying a tub of protein powder, but they're not getting any education. So they're just being sold the product and not told the side effects or what's going to happen afterwards, or what damage you're doing, or it's more like a money thing. It's no education with it. They don't break it down. They just give them.
If you, well, I mean, they're not getting. You got to get your liver enzymes checked every month. They're not doing that.
Oh. No.
Like you got.
It's massive. Kind of. It's like a lot of the younger guys now. It's more for aesthetics and looking good, going places and going out. So it's not actually for the performance.
Yeah.
They're going out drinking 20 beers the weekend, and it's just to look good in a t-shirt, which it's just crazy.
Yeah. On your gym floor, I have it down here. I got lots of girls down here. Always wind up having to mop up pee. You got that problem?
Would you believe I have one lady who messaged me and she has that problem? I never seen it before. And then recently, when it happened to her, I'm starting to see it a lot more. I'm getting more delved into it. It's like my phone can hear me because I'm seeing more videos and more videos.
If you're a girl and you don't pee in your squat, you didn't push hard enough. That's what they just whatever it is, wherever. I don't know the anatomy. I'm not a smart guy. All I know is that when girls are pushing their ass off in the squat, it happens.
It's the first thing to happen, of course. This has to be understanding.
And then for me, every once in a while on a PR deadlift, just a little bit of poop comes out.
It can happen.
These things happen.
these things happen. They are doing something. It can happen.
Have you ever gone? I told you I bombed out of that meet, right? And I missed all 3 squats. Did that ever happen to you in a competition?
No, I think my biggest thing is I've not done loads of competitions, but I can admit and say maybe once or twice I played it safe. I didn't. A few times I could have pushed myself with bigger numbers and I held back, which I regret after doing a competition. But any top lifters that train here, they've all bombed out because they've thrown everything at. They want to get a record or they want to push that before.
Yeah, like I'll train people. I'll run a meet differently for someone, right? Like there's usually like 2 ways to run a meet, or 3. It depends. Do you want to build your total? Are you looking to break a record, or are you looking to beat somebody? You know.
Yes.
And all those different ways, you know, you're gonna push the numbers differently. You know, if you're looking to beat someone, sorry, your PR that you want to make in the bench, you know, we can't worry about that. We need to work on. You can't have you miss that. We need to build up your total. You know, like, yeah, and then if you're trying to beat someone, really, I mean, your third attempt deadlift is where it happens.
That's where it goes down.
Yeah, that's it's all in the third attempt deadlift, and then for total building, so like, okay, like for me, very rarely I'm competing against someone that I might beat. So usually I'm just trying to do as good as I can on each lift.
Try to beat yourself.
Right. Yeah. Just trying to beat myself. That's generally how like I myself wind up running my meets, my own competition. So my first attempts are what I hit for 5 in the gym. If I hit it for 5 in the gym, that's my opener. Some people do 3. I like 5. Nice and easy,
Sure.
In and out, especially the squat. You know, the squat could be nerve-wracking. Get it in and out, add it away, done. You know, get your squat in. And basically, really, I'll usually set it up as my second one is probably really my warm-up for what I want to hit. You know.
Yeah.
And the same thing on each lift. And you know, and if I get, you know, like 8 out of 9 for me is a phenomenal meet. If I got 9 for 9, you know, I look at it as like I really didn't challenge myself, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I found myself guilty of, but the reason when I first started competing, I think it was more as an accessory to my business rather than competing to win, if you get me. I was using the experience to then use in my job and business, say that we compete and we do train lifters. But the more I got into it, I found I should be doing a lot more, and I have been guilty of reserving myself, holding myself back.
Yeah,
but
you got to push it on that third attempt.
You do. You literally need to be. It needs to be. But I've won one or two. I won one or two IPOs, and I've done well in competitions. I won one competition there. We done an IPO at nationals. I got one. I think I have a medal here. It's hanging up there somewhere. Yeah, but it's big in Ireland, but I don't think there's still a lot of room to grow. There's the IPO we competed in the IPO, which is run by Shane Brody, and the lifters that he brings from different countries and the competitions that he holds are just another level. He's really pushing the front for powerlifting in Ireland. There's another big one actually at the moment, Abs Pro. It's Abs Powerlifting. Yeah. They have a lot of young guys in the Dublin and Kilkenny area, which would be bigger counties. They have a lot bigger group, and they're doing a lot of online training.
I've seen a couple of hundred. I've seen some 100% raw people lifting in Ireland. You heard of that organization?
What's it called?
100% raw.
100% raw. Is that the name of the federation?
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually.
No,
I've seen some guys in Ireland.
Yeah, the two main ones that I've ever seen is Abs, or it's called, the other one is IPO. You should look up those. They're really their meets are just a different level. They get rock bands in to play. It's like a really good event. It's really hyped up now.
I never seen.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, It's an interesting thing with powerlifting. There's probably, I don't know, 100 powerlifting organizations. You know, it's just the sport is so fragmented. It's it's a strange thing. I was at one point, right, but back in the 90s, I think the early 90s, this guy Al Siegel started 100% Raw. No, I'm sorry. Al Siegel started the ADAU, the Anti-Drug Athletes United.
Yeah.
It's not around anymore. After he died, 100% Raw took over. But I'm almost positive that they were the first Raw organization. Because I know when I started lifting, USAPL, which is probably the biggest one, they didn't have Raw. I actually went to USAPL meet. Well, our college team went. They thought we were out of our minds because we wearing singlets. And the story behind that was that we had so many people on our team that didn't have money for the equipment, and it wasn't funding us. So listen, we weren't going to have some people lift in suits and wraps and some people not. So we all went Raw, you know, and we actually won the college division. We beat a couple teams.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, so that's how we started Raw, because we had no money, and then we just kept doing it, and all of a sudden it became popular.
Yeah, it just becomes bigger.
It was so much easier than doing all that stuff, wrapping yourself up and getting in the suits and training with the suits, and you know.
It's nearly a workout. You're losing the time for a workout, putting on suits and wrapping up and putting on different things, belts, and it could take an hour. I just find it, I'd lose my. It's not for. It wouldn't be for me. I'd lose my patience with it. It takes too long to set up. But again, it's like a different sport.
It's another funny story. You'll like this story. Do you use pre-workout before you lift?
Yeah, sometimes I use a bit of pre-workout with it.
Okay, what's the recommended dosage?
1 scoop of what I'm cycling now is just I'm taking 5 grams of beta-alanine before training. I just find it good. It's good for my endurance. And
what's the most you've ever used?
I've used probably 15 grams and nearly got sick and died in the gym.
That's what I like to hear. Because nobody's using the recommended dosage because it does nothing.
No.
Yeah. Well, why? My wife's 100 pounds. She could take 1 scoop, and I only take 1 scoop. That's not fair. I'm twice the size. I need to take at least 2 scoops. And it's science. And so, but here's right. So I get a little crazy towards like the competitions, right? Towards the end of my cycle, I'll get up to like 4 scoops. And so the last competition rolls around, and I'm like, well, I take 4 scoops before I squat, 4 scoops before I deadlift, 4 scoops before I bench, right? I do them on different days. I'm like, well, I take 12 scoops today. So I drink 12 scoops throughout the competition, and I didn't tell my wife I did this. At the end of the competition, I look like purple. Hold on, let me grab this real quick. I look like you really can't see it that good here, but I look like
I can see the tinge of purple. Yeah.
Yeah. My wife's like, she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." And when we were holding this trophy, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to survive this. I felt like I was cooking.
Yeah, the worst experience I've ever had. There's a stuff on the market here called Black Bomb by Dorian Yates. I got it off one of the guys. He said, "Try this. It's very strong," because we were taking some of the stuff with grenade and we weren't getting any effect. It was just gone to the stage that we weren't getting any effect. So me and my partner were going to a concert, and we said we'd hit up a gym session before we go. And normally I take 2 scoops of grenades, no problem. I'd take 2 scoops. So I said we'll take 2, and she took 2. We finished the gym. We were going to the concert. We were driving nearly an hour and a half, 2 hours away to the hotel where we were staying. And we had to take a detour to the hospital. My partner was in the passenger seat making funny signals, couldn't talk, face purple, red. She had an out of body experience. My heart felt like it was coming out from my jumper. I never had So it was that was the worst experience I've ever had with pre-workout. So I never forget the name.
I finally found someone that's an idiot like me.
Yeah, I genuinely thought I was going to die that day. So we had to take a detour for the concert and go to hospital to make sure. It's just the amount of caffeine. Yeah, my partner was having an outer body experience that she was sitting in the car, but she could see herself from above. It was crazy.
Yeah. Do you remember the pre-workout Jack 3D?
Jack 3D was a big thing here. Yes, the original.
But when they banned that in the United States, I was like a drug addict that they took away my drug. Jack 3D was literally like you were taking like meth.
So amphetamine, yeah.
Yeah, like like a light version of meth.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like my wife hated it. She hated it when I used it because it would last so long even after my workouts. I'd come upstairs and like I'd throw her over my shoulders and just like I was it turned you into a caveman.
Yeah, it's crazy. You'd have some difficulty sleep. It's banned off the market with a good few years over here, but that was really, really a massive seller.
Yeah.
A massive seller.
Yeah, you can mix meth into your pre-workout. It's gonna sell.
Yeah, it was crazy.
A little cocaine too, Yeah.
Oh, it would be the best seller ever. You'd never have to worry about not training then.
You said you had chains and bands in your gym, right?
Yeah, I've got chains, bands. We've got bamboo bars. We've got.
I gotta get.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Because I don't have the bamboo bar. Well, I'll post a video of it later. I've been benching. I've been taking the band and tying a 20 plate to it and been benching with that.
Yeah. That's what we do. We do it's called tremor benching. So we put bands with a kettlebell, 2 kettlebells to the side. Same idea, same kind of working on stabilizers.
Yeah, I don't have kettlebells.
Yeah, not for CrossFit or anything.
Yeah. So, what are your goals for your gym after COVID ends?
COVID ends. I just want to keep progressing. I want to have a place that anyone can come in, but they learn and get more educated on strength training. That lifting weights won't automatically, like, there's a big stigma in Ireland. A lot of women think lifting weights will make you bigger. And the first thing I show them is all the powerlifting gyms, they're women trainers. There's not one woman that's over a certain way. Most women powerlifters are in the best shape. They look unbelievable. Yeah. They're a good way of that's my go-to show anyone that's serious about training. If you want to get in shape or you want to look good, go powerlift.
Yeah.
There's a lot of women over here that matter. They like the look of Stephanie Cohen or Dana Lynn Bailey. Like, no, real powerlifting, a lot of powerlifters.
Yeah, Steffi's a little big.
Yeah, she's after getting bigger. To be honest.
I think, yeah, what she's doing, I don't know, but it seems like but
yeah, she is after getting bigger. But
I think the steroid use by women in powerlifting makes women scared to powerlift because they think that if they lift, they're gonna look like that.
That's what's going to happen. Yes.
And it's not true. I mean, look, you saw my wife, right? Like she's been powerlifting since 2001. Seriously, the only time she ever stopped was when she got pregnant 3 times. That's it. For 20 years, basically, she's been just going at it as hard as she can. And she's crazy intense. I mean, look at her on Instagram. So she's JM Naziri, in my last name, JM.
Is it?
She's a phenomenal lifter. Such good technique. And does she look like a guy?
No.
It's just, you know what I mean? Like, if you see her face, she looks like a girl because she's not using steroids.
Yeah, of course. You know, it's the male has.
You have to tell these women, look at those women's faces. If they don't look like feminine, that's not natural.
No, they're taking a male testosterone hormone.
Yeah.
Is steroids illegal in America?
Yeah.
They're illegal just to even have
unless they're prescribed, unless they're prescription, yeah, it's illegal.
It's legal. You see, in Ireland,
Yeah,
the law is very relaxed.
yeah, the laws what? Well, it's funny enough, in the NYPD, back when I got on in 2006, they didn't test for steroids, and there was some massive cops. I mean,
Jack Costa.
enormous. Like not as big as Eddie. What is his name? Coleman. He was a cop.
Ronnie Coleman.
Ronnie
Yeah,
Coleman.
Ronnie Coleman. Yeah.
No, I didn't see anyone as big as him, but there was some giant cops, and there was a police captain. Anyway, there was this big steroid sting takedown. They arrested a bunch of people. They arrested a doctor because the doctor was basically just giving out steroids, and then people were paying him for it. So
Yes.
part of that whole takedown, there was an NYPD captain in that whole sting, right? So it comes out in the newspaper, NYPD captain involved in steroid sting. Now they start testing for steroids. This is like in 2008.
Oh.
Man, at all those guys that you were like, wow, he's so big, all of a sudden were like, ding, ding, ding. They started they all started to shrink down. It was hysterical, Like there was this one guy in my gym. He would be like, I know everything. I'm the biggest guy because second they started testing for steroids, it was like, yo, what happened to you? Like you can't drink like you did anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, but it's very relaxed here. It's I don't think it's illegal to have in possession, but it's illegal to sell. So a lot of what happens is it's becoming a lot easier to source. It's not really. I think it's going to be probably down the year, but I think there's a lot of in most sports here, rugby, GAA, it's being used. Like there's a lot of top athletes using it, but there's not much. There's mandatory. The testing is not massive.
Yeah, it's like that's a big thing. Testing and I don't know the power out there, but here, like I went to a meet like this, like a lot of organizations, they kind of have like a full medley of like what you can do. They got raw classic with no knee wraps. They got single ply. They got multiply, canvas, and then they have drug tested, and then they have undrug tested.
Yeah, that's what's here as well. Same kind of setup.
Yeah.
So most federations has that.
It's like it's 8 different sports.
Yeah, yeah, completely different.
Yeah, it's like 8 completely. Other than raw classic is close, knee wraps.
Yeah.
But I think those two got to get together and just figure it out, knee wraps and no knee wraps. It's ridiculous to have a raw classic and raw raw with knee sleeve. It's too close.
Yeah, it's very.
I know the older school raw guys like don't want to do the knee sleeves. That's what it is. Once they all die out, it'll go. I'm telling you, that's what
it'll go eventually. Would you squat in knee sleeves or knee sleeves? Yeah.
I never squatted in knee sleeves.
No.
I know the organization I lived in, you can wear knee sleeves. I never did because the organization that I lived in before wouldn't allow it. But I know my sister-in-law, she's a really good lifter, Haley Jo Kenny. Unfortunately, I have the Irish side to my family now. But yeah, Haley Jo Kenny, she started maybe 2 years ago, and she all of a sudden at like 114 pounds. Now she's squatting. She's probably going to squat 250 at this meet. Raw.
Crazy.
Yeah, and especially for a new lifter. I mean, she's just put muscle on pretty fast, and
it's probably genetics, I think, isn't it?
She's my wife's sister, and my wife just like, why didn't I get those genetics? It's just funny how the two sisters totally different.
Yeah.
But the knee sleeves helped her a lot. I think more psychologically than anything, because before she was wearing them, if you watch Haley Jo Kenny, if you look at her videos, right before the knee sleeves, she was getting down in the hole. I mean, she was almost doing a pause squat. She was just like, I think she was just mentally psyching herself out. And then she was making her lifts, but she just so slow. Note the turnaround speed. The second she put those knee sleeves on, it's just bang.
Yeah, it's confidence. It's confidence having that that tightness in their knee joint.
I think so. I don't think those knee sleeves could have done that much for her.
No, I think it's just confidence when it comes to. I had knee replacements when I was 21, and when I started powerlifting, I automatically thought because I got knee problems that I should be wrapping and wearing straps and wearing sleeves. So for about 5 or 6 years, I fell into the category when I get to a certain weight, I could not wear them.
Yeah.
So after about 5 years, I just said, I went back training. I just said, you know what? I'm getting so dependent on them. It's affecting my training. I'm just going to train without them. And I nearly built back up my squat up to where I was with sleeves, probably a bit more. I wasn't far off. Now, wraps do give a small bit of a bounce out of the hole, but I definitely was psychological.
I call it the Superman effect. You know, you put your Superman, you put your cape on or whatever, and then boom, you know.
Yeah.
But like, so here's a good example of that, right? You could do that with anything, right? For me, one competition, it happened with music. I was training with blasting music, crazy, all my lifts, you know. And when I went to the competition, it just felt like I was in a surgery room, you know, like it was just so quiet.
Yeah.
I was just like, I didn't bomb out of the meet, but I didn't have a great meet, and I knew that's what it was. So the next time I went to compete, you know, a couple of weeks before the competition for my sets, I would turn the music off of my sets, and I would lift with no music because the organization didn't have music playing.
Yeah, I didn't have any music.
So, and it helped me out a lot. So now, I try and train exactly like how the competition is going to be. So, like if you said one place has a gym play, like a band playing, you know,
yeah.
like I would have my daughter blasting on the drums. I got a drum set right there. There you go. So I just start jamming on those drums, and I'm gonna do my squat just like how to, you know. So that's what I would recommend. You know, like you gotta compete. You gotta know your meet site too.
Find out.
You gotta focus. Our coach was so crazy. He made us drive 10 hours to Erie, Pennsylvania, to go see this hotel lobby, to look at the lobby, to get visualized, to see where everything was gonna be. He was nuts. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't drive 10 hours, but he was totally out of his mind. Did
it work?
We did good. Yeah, we always did good. And he's an amazing guy too. He doesn't really do the social media stuff, but he got into a bad motorcycle accident. He's only got one leg now, and you know, with COVID, and they shut the gyms down. And he was hopping himself along a field track, you know, running, doing his around the field track, doing his push-ups, doing it, you know, out in the rain, in the snow with one leg, and he's got
some people. It really shows that there should be no excuses when you have somebody like that who don't take any. It doesn't take a dent out of them, and they just stay motivated, and they can do it. It's inspirational.
Yeah, he started the team in 1978, but I think he was still lifting earlier than that. That's when he started the team, and he said he never stopped training ever. Never stopped training. I mean, you know, we would always take a week off before the competition. We'd lift like one day in, you know, just like to slow down a little bit. But I mean, he never stopped. Like I stopped maybe 2 or 3 times.
Different reasons.
Yeah, mostly just because I hit plateaus, and probably because of diet issues, you know, and you know, I had problems with depression and stuff like that, and I hit those plateaus, and then it wouldn't help with the depression, and I'd be like, this is not for me. I can't do it.
Yeah.
There were a couple times I stopped, and I wish I never did. I wish I never stopped.
People like that, if they stop and they stop probably exercising, it's then when they actually probably slow down then.
Yeah.
You see people when they stop training, they stop exercising, or stop doing their normal day-to-day life, they actually start to age a bit more, and that's their life. That's their life and soul.
Yeah. You have some older people in your gym?
Yeah, I've got guys come in, and there's 2 guys. One guy is 6. The oldest probably 70, and he comes in, he trains, he does his hour, intense training, does his work. But I see when COVID came in first and lockdown came in, he's a single guy that lives on his own. When I met him outside in the street, and he aged nearly 10 years.
Yeah.
He suffered big time. So I made a promise with him with COVID. I know it's terrible to say, but I said, you can have a key. I'll look after him. Like, you know, I'd rather see someone. He's a single guy living on his own, and that's his only outlet. So I gave him a key to use the gym and work away. When there's no one else there, he can get in and get out on his own. So yeah, it's good because I think it's an outlet as well socially, especially if you're living on your own and you have nothing else. It's a good way to meet people, and you get talking that you normally wouldn't have the interaction with. So we got a good community here.
Well, I'm glad I met you, because when I come to Ireland, I want to lift. I don't like
Yeah.
well,
Anytime.
we go on vacation. I have I don't know, is it big in Ireland? I think they call them in England. I think they call them caravans. You know, the trailers.
Oh, it's big in Ireland as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have 2 5-pound. If you could, like way back in the summer when we went away on vacation, I made them 2 5-gallon buckets with couple pieces of wood in there. You know, a bench and the squat rack height.
Yeah.
For my wife's height, I had to make it because it's not going to be adjustable. And we brought that in the back of my truck, and the bar and a bunch of plates, and we looked like people must have thought we were idiots. I don't know. Like, we were just in the morning, people were doing breakfast, we were squatting.
Yeah, I don't know. It's caravans, and what people do is they rent out caravans or mobile home or camper vans, and they would travel the whole of Ireland. Or it's becoming more popular now because you can't travel outside.
Yeah, that's what we did. We were supposed to go to Disney World, and the Disney was closed, and New York was really tight, and Pennsylvania wasn't. So we went to Pennsylvania, and it worked out good.
I actually have one American girl that actually trains here, and one she was over here. She was equestrian horse rider. She was from Texas, and she just happened to find me on Facebook, and she come train, and she came down, and we were showing her powerlifting. We were doing squats, I think, on the night, and she was completely amazed. She went back to America in the meantime. I think she's going to get involved with powerlifting because she was in awe. Like, she just loved it.
Yeah, that's great.
There's another girl. She's from, I think it's Connecticut. She's married over here, but she's American. She's only after coming back. She was over there for 3 weeks to see her parents.
There's a lot of now, like when I started in 2001, like there weren't that many girls at the competitions. There weren't that many. Like now it's like a lot of meets are like 50-50. Like it's grown big time with girls over the years.
Yeah. It's grown. It's definitely getting mass. I think even women are getting more understanding that you can lift weight, and it's not going to build massive masculine muscle, or you're going to look like a man. And it's becoming more understandable.
I think a lot of guys now change their maybe because they see it online a lot now. Like, I think like what guys like now, I think it's changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Like now.
Well, powerlifting is badass though for a woman, and they're looking and they can squat and deadlift. It looks like, you put up on your social media that you're a powerlifter. It's a big draw.
Yeah.
It's badass. Like.
Yeah. Well, hey man, thanks a lot for doing the podcast.
No problem. I had loads of time because I said I'm not open, and I had my own training done, so there's no hassle anytime. And if you're ever over here in Ireland, just give a shout. We're
definitely gonna come on, like, because it's the flights from the airport here. Sometimes they have $99 flights.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not that bad. So it'll be we definitely want to go to Ireland. Plus, my wife's half her family. I don't know if she's got family in Ireland. I think from Ireland. They went to Newfoundland, and they were cod fishermen in Newfoundland, and then supposedly Japan went, like, they took like all the cod, and there was no cod left, and then they moved down, and half of them are in Boston, and the other half went to New York City, and they were ironworkers.
Check up that family tree. I think she probably could have relations.
Yeah. Well, yeah, look up Kenny in Ireland. I'm sure there's a
there's I can name 5 or 6 different families that are here already with Kenny.
We're just gonna show up at any Kenny house and be like, I think we're
Yeah, we're cousins from America.
We stay here tonight.
Yeah, there'll be no hassle. There'll be no problem that way. Irish very well.
Thanks a lot, man. It's cool
No
having
hassle at all. Thanks very much for taking me on.
a powerlifting friend in Ireland, and I'll keep in touch with you online.
Online. Nice to talk to you.
Nice talking to you. Bye.